number of students not influence my work, because first course in my university career registered only 2 students. And I lived in Kecskemét, other city. And each day on the education I had to travel by train 1 hour and back 1 hour. Therefore, very high importance, participate or not the student. Therefore, it's happened at the beginning of 90s in the last century, and I took one agreement with the student. Relocate the place of course to the pub. And each occasion the students receive 1 cup of beer. Because it's very important, because if 2 persons is very weak proportion, only 1 don't want to participate or 2, it's have to cancel whole of the course. Therefore, this was somehow a corruption I bought, and everybody every time participated. Moreover, the waiters of the pub, sometimes because it's happened before noon, it's not so huge client on the pub. Therefore, sometimes 2, 3 or 4 waiters sit down on the table. Therefore, I increase the size of my audience. Okay, the important information, the following Tuesday, it's a vacancy, you know. It's a rector of university, I don't know why, cancelled the following Tuesday. Therefore, we will meet in 2 weeks' time for rector vacancy.
Only Tuesday? So
not Tuesday. Tuesday.
Okay.
2 days.
Okay.
Only following week. Okay, unfortunately, it's not my responsibility. So, look at the materials which necessary to continue. Okay, probably you remember in the introduction I tried to clarify basically the scientific background of environmental history, the methods of environmental history, and the key terms, the key concepts of environmental history. And on the last chapter, in the last week, I spoke about short-term interaction between physical environment and society. But look at a long-term. It's a long duration, long durée I spoke about in the case of French historian. It's introduced a French historian, Anna School, not important, a short-term, a generations, human generation term, but some historical events, some historical process unfold long-term. Like, for example, global economy, like, for example, Catholic Church. It's a lot of 100 years long-term unfold in the historical past. And we try to analyze in the following part of the course the long-term interaction between physical environment and society. For this interaction, the frame of this interaction, a human evolution. If we would like, we focus to the human evolution. Sorry, I switch on the... No! Yeah, switch on. There is a record. Okay, I will cut. Yeah, but it's possible I told you once I missed pushing on the record button. So, if we are looking at human evolution, we have to focus 2 actors. The first one, Earth, the physical environment in this case, and the second one, humankind, whole of the humans. Because in the human evolution, a lot of different human sub-races appear. Okay, look at first Earth. If we are looking at Earth, necessary to define some crucial concept of crucial information influence of human evolution. The first one, the Earth is the largest terrestrial planet, because you know in the sun system, solar system, exists a lot of different planets. Inner side, it's the first one, Mars, Venus, Earth, no Mars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and the Mars. This is the inner part of the solar system, and with Mars, this is the last terrestrial type planets, start the gas planets. Gas planets, Jupiter, Saturn, and which other one? And the other one, it's a gas-based planets. Jupiter, Saturn, I don't know, I forgot. It's happened so far when I took exam in the solar system. Anyway, we focused to the terrestrial planets. Earth formed approximately 4.54 billion years ago. Billion, it's mean American English, in British English, million years ago, very far. Which are the peculiarity compared with any other? Highest density, highest surface gravity, not by chance, probably you know, for example, the videos in the moon discoveries and the moon project, that the size, the weight of the body in the moon, 1 to 6. If you visit, for example, in Vienna Natural Museum, there is a scale, a personal scale according to proportion of the weight on the moon. It's very interesting. If you step on the scale, show the weight on the moon. Okay, but highest surface gravity, strongest magnetic field. It's very important because the magnetic field safe for the cosmic radiation. And fastest rotation. Very interesting. Somebody, no geographer in the audience. No, very interesting because the speed of the rotation of Earth is very quick. But we, according to our experiences, nobody moving. Why? Because we are moving the same like whole of the Earth. Therefore, there are some idea about the disaster, natural disaster. For example, if slow down the speed of rotation, a lot of element on the surface of Earth, it's flying and broken. Okay, but not so high the probability. Good. The second one, if we are looking at the chemical composition of the Earth, the highest proportion iron. Second one, oxygen. Not by chance, recently we are living oxygen-based life. Not by chance, because the second highest proportion on the Earth. Silicon, magnesium, and sulfur. Why body the sulfur? Because the first form of the life appeared as sulfur-based life. Only the oxygen was the second one. Nickel, calcium, aluminium, trace element, much lower. We have to focus on oxygen and sulfur. Good. If we are looking at atmosphere and hydrosphere, very important, the atmosphere and hydrosphere, we are living in the third atmosphere. Atmosphere transformed 3 times on the history, geological history of Earth. Very important the hydrosphere. Why? Because if we are looking the proportion of the hydrosphere, majority of water on the Earth is saline water, salt water. Only 2.5% of fresh water. Moreover, the majority of the fresh water located in ice, in form of ice. And obvious information, probably you know from your secondary school studies, 71% of the surface of Earth cover the global ocean. Okay, look at the next basic information about the Earth, the most important peculiarity of the Earth. The first atmosphere contains helium and hydrogen. Why? Because if we are looking at the Sun, which element form the Sun? Helium and hydrogen. Therefore, these are the basic element of the Sun system. And later, approximately around 4.4 billion years ago, appeared the carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide, ammonia, and nitrogen. I call your attention because recently, the recent atmosphere, one of the most important elements, nitrogen, appeared in the second phases of formation of atmosphere, and recently we are living in the third atmosphere and quite steady the proportion of the nitrogen. It's 78, and the oxygen, and any other much lower. If we are looking at biosphere, each living element of the surface and up and down of the soil, it's a very harsh simplification, but in this approach, not necessary more detailed approach. Look, the first form of life appeared 3.8 billion years ago. Sulfur-based life. Important milestone, 3 billion years ago, when appeared oxygen-based life. But very important information that oxygen was a toxic gas for sulfur-based life. Therefore, when appeared the oxygen by bacterial and later the plant bases, killed 99% of sulfur-based life. And the sulfur-based life was able to survive appearance of oxygen underwater in the ocean and deeply in the soil. The next milestone, appearance of fish on the global ocean, 500 million years ago. The next milestone, a little bit later, 475 million years ago, appeared the land plants, and the life occupied a continental area. And 200 million years ago appeared the mammals. Very important, this was the age of dinosaurs. Therefore, mammals appeared on the peripheral part of the biosphere, and in consequence of this appearance of dinosaurs, 2.5 million years ago started the human evolution, and the mammals became a dominant species. Sorry?
I didn't hear it. What was it that eradicated the sulfur-based life? What ended the sulfur-based life? Of course, when appeared photosynthesis. Oh, okay.
3 billion years ago, because for form of the sulfur-based life, appearance of oxygen, it's a toxic and killed. Like for example, if this lecture room push sulfur, some form, for example, gas, we will die. Yeah. Why? Because our life, our lungs, based on oxygen. This happened in controversial manner in the case of sulfur-based life, killed by oxygen. Therefore, the sulfur exists recently, the sulfur-based life, deeply in the ocean and deeply in the soil. Deeply. It's an oxygen environment. Okay? And the human evolution started 2.5 million years ago. Good. Look at the human evolution. These are the most important basic information about the Earth, the general condition of the Earth. Look at the human evolution, or other words, anthropogenesis. Good. The first step, evolution of primates. Everybody know which is the primates. This is the, it's a common ancestor of monkeys and the humans. And the first milestone, it's a bifurcation of the chain of evolution of different monkeys. The first approximately 18 to 12 million years ago, this divided the trajectory of primates and the gibbons. And the next milestone, 8 to 4 million years ago, bifurcated the gorillas, chimpanzee, but very important information, DNA of chimpanzee, which is the closest relative of humankind, identical 98.4%. Very close to each other. And if we are looking the history of humankind, this is the tree of evolution, I have to call your attention to basic information. The first one, if we are looking at human evolution, in the same time appear different form of humans. Therefore, in the perspective, come in. No problem. Come in, sit down. We are speaking about the human evolution. You can pick one piece of slide series, copy of the slide series.
Thank you.
No problem, sit down. Okay, if we are looking at human evolution, the most important peculiarity of human evolution, on the same time, different formation, different subspecies existed. This is the normal condition of human evolution. And very strange, recently, only one species exists. Homo sapiens sapiens. No any other. Whole of the world, we are the member, the same species, the same human species. Very interesting how reacted, for example, movie makers. You know the X-Men movies. This is the reflection that not normal, only one species exists on the same time. Because if we are looking at human evolution, a lot of different rivals existed in the same time, under pressure of evolution. Okay, about the human evolution, there are recently two basic theories. The first one, a savanna or east side story. This is the generally agreed and accepted theory. And other one, a little bit heretical, aquatic ape hypothesis. This is the main theory accepted generally, and it's a little bit interesting and rival theory. Look at the first one, east side story theory. If we are looking at Africa, there is a very interesting part of Africa, east coast, eastern part of the Africa. This area named Horn of Africa. Why? Because if we are looking at geological axis Africa, there is a line of fracture. It named Great Rift Valleys. Why? Because here there are a lot of volcanoes. Why? Because recently, probably the Horn of Africa will divide, geological dimension, will divide from Africa and became a similar island like Madagascar here. If taking Madagascar, probably Madagascar was a part of Africa. But geological reason, there is a rupture and moving in different directions. It's a geological evolution. It's a normal story. Why interesting for us? Because agreed and very interesting, in Africa, in the geography of Africa, there is only one Hungarian name. No any other, only one. Hungarian students know which Hungarian name there is in Great Rift Valleys. Nobody? Volcano Teleki. It's Samuel Teleki. It's a very famous hunter and discoverer. And a volcano Teleki located somewhere here, named after Samuel Teleki, who lived in the 19th century. No any other Hungarian name, whole of the African geographical map, only one. It's located over there. Why interesting for us? Because this is the line of equator. Equator. Equator climate, it's a continuous raining climate, very hot and very rainy. The mammals, primates, who are living in this area, it's living on the frondiferous forest. You know which is the frondiferous forest. There is a leaves on the forest, not pine, it's other one. And the primates living on the upper part of the trees. Why? Because if we are looking the chain of consummation, with, for example, rats, other part lion, somewhere in the chain of consummation, in the middle part located the humans. Dangerous for rats, but predators dangerous for them. Therefore, very important for the early primates, a safe place. A safe place up to the tree. But, in consequence of geological changes, this area is moved up, raised up. Why so important? Because if somebody raising up a little bit change the climate, and the tropical forest converted a savanna. Two options for the primates. One, going somehow to the tropical forest, escape to the tropical forest, or somehow try to adapt to the new landscape. Geological changes and adaptation. Which are the most important adaptation? The first one, a bipedal walking. A bipedal walking. Why so important? Because change the position of organ, how the name is, speaking organs, position of the throats, position of the how the name is, the organs necessary for speaking, for the language. It's a very important change. More, beside that, very important that the hands became free for making devices and for bringing the good and usable devices. Therefore, according to East Side Story, this is the associate somehow West Side Story, musical, probably you know. This is the East Side Story. Basically, the reason, according to this theory, the geological change, geological rising of tropical forest area and conversion to savanna made a pressure of adaptation. No problem. You can pick one slide series, supplement over there. Okay, this is the East Side Story. Look at the other one, aquatic ape hypothesis. It's very old hypothesis. Even in the old Greek, general in the science, if somebody would like to describe some, even the old Greek. One Greek philosopher, Anaximander, wrote in his works that a human came from ocean. It was a Greek hypothesis, philosophical hypothesis. And very interesting, this hypothesis reinvented two British scholars, Alistair Hardy and Alan Morgan. Very interesting and very important, no direct evidence. No direct evidence about aquatic hypothesis. Why? Because, later I will speak about, on the time of human evolution unfolded on the time of Ice Age. On the time of Ice Age, the position of global sea 100 meters lower than recently. Therefore, the potential archaeological sites recently 1 meter lower under the sea level. Okay, which indirect evidences are? The first indirect evidence on the side of aquatic ape hypothesis, no hair on the body. There are some exceptions, but generally no hair, only on the head. According to supporter of this hypothesis, the shallow part of the sea coast is a safe place both for human communities. Why? Because I mentioned that the human located on the chain of consummation in the middle. The predator and lot of large mammals dangerous for the humans. Therefore, for them necessary a safe place. For example, approaching a predator, a lion, very good option running to the sea, on the shallow sea, only for example, not so deep, not necessary to swim in continuously, only you know which is the shallow. Not the deep water, shallow water, and it's a safe place because majority of predator, except the hippopotamus, but hippopotamus prefer the fresh water, majority of predator hate the water. Therefore, if the humans escape to the water, able to survive the assault of predators. But very interesting, if possible, I told to you that I'm living together with the cats. And generally the cats behave similarly like lions, but smaller one, it's very important advantage. And some cat, like my cat, it's a name of Zhizha, my cat like the water, it's very exceptional. But the reason of that, because Zhizha preferred the water, she was a very small cat I found on the street, very small. Therefore, necessary to swim day by day. Why? Because so young, I fed with natural, artificial milk, and it's shit continuously. Therefore, 4 or 5 times necessary to swim to clean by water. And this is the most important consequence of her childhood, because the childhood is the most important period of the life. Probably you know. I tell you one example. One Hungarian psychologist close to the prison, for political reason, close to the prison. And it's possible Hungarian student know his name, Ferenc Mirey. It's a great psychologist. He wrote a book about the infantile, it's a children psychology, used recently even in the so-called psychologists. Close to the prison, after the Hungarian Revolution, 56. 56. And for intellectual, the prison is a very dangerous place, because no occasion for intellectual works. Therefore, Mirey decided to analyze his dreams and wrote down the dreams day by day. And very interesting conclusion, only one layer of dream able to survive each condition, even in the prison. The dreams about childhood. Very interesting. Okay, turn back to the story. Loss of body hair. Why important? Because on the body, living near to the sea coast, the shallow water, not necessary the hair on the body, because if somebody regularly go in out, it's drying on the hair on the body, use and lose energy. Therefore, the people who not so high density of hair on the body, there is evolutionary advantage. Okay, why important on the head? The hair on the head saved against solar radiation. Okay, facilitation of bipedal walking. You know Archimedes' rule. How many weight loss on the water, which weight on the water pushing out. You know, approximately this is the law of Archimedes. Not by chance, after accidents, for example, car accident, any other accident, which is dangerous for the walking, the rehabilitation and the curing It's somehow the water rehabilitation. Therefore, according to supporter of this theory, bipedal walking, it's accelerated shallow waters, occupation of the shallow waters. Skin bonded fat deposit. It's quite strange because mammals, majority of mammals, not able increase a lot of fat deposit under skin. It's specialty of sea mammals, and the human able, like me, for example. This is my personal reason that my mother, one of the most important job of my mother, it's breeding of pigs. You know which is the pigs. Because my mother wasn't racial prejudice, occupied the same technology in my case. The technology was during the childhood necessary increase the size of stomach, and later the process became self-sustainable because the people continuously hungry, ate, and I am the final phases, I hope. Okay, breath control. I told to you that my cat able to walking on the water without any problem, but she don't want to diving because the not sea mammals, it's a continental mammals, not able to stop the breath under water, not able diving. This is one of the most important peculiarity of the humans, able to stop of breath underwater. And jump a little bit because over there is a diving reflex. Probably you listened about the diving reflex. Babies until the 3 month time spontaneously stop the breath underwater, and no any panic, but necessary to pick up from the water because the size of lung is limited. Okay, it's connected one to other. Breath control and diving reflex. Very important, 7% of humans, there are a large web between fingers. Like, for example, duck. You know the duck. Not so large, but a little bit larger one. It's atavism. For you, it's possible not, but it's only 7%. Smaller or larger. Downward watching nose. It's very usable. If somebody is moving, it's a diving activity, it's moving down, it's increase the pressure inside of the nose, and the water don't flow into the nose. Slowing her beat under the water. This is the spontaneous reaction of body. It's slow down. It's a saving function mode underwater because the body spontaneously understands that this is artificial physical environment and somehow important to save energy on the diving period. Affection of the water, it's very important. No any other animal who enjoy of swimming, no any other. Only the human who enjoy playing or swimming. And the human sweet and tear salty, even for the sea mammals. Because, according to supporter of this theory, human evolution unfolded salt-rich environment like a seaside.
Sorry, I don't really understand why the downward watching nose is important, because isn't it that like in the water the pressure is the same from all directions?
Yeah, but probably you try to moving down underwater. And for example, suggest when I learned to swim, the trainer of me told to me when I moving down and pushing the water, and it's safe to flowing into the water in my nose or in my tongue, in my lung. Therefore, it's overpressure, making very easy to make overpressure inside of the nose. Okay, it's probably there is some conclusion is true, but no evidences, because the potential archaeological site under 100 meters the sea level. Good. Look at the Earth. Turn back a little bit to the Earth and the background of evolution. The first important information, Ice Age, because the human evolution unfolded on the Ice Age. It's quite rare, the ice period rare in the human history. Only four times appear ice period, Ice Age. Which are the most important indicator of the Ice Age? Ice Age, when two poles of Earth there are ice cover. Very important. We are living recently on the age of global warming, but geological age, this is Ice Age, ice period. Why? Because two poles under ice core. Four ice period we can identify by geological devices. The first one, Huronian, it's very far, snowball Earth, very interesting because whole of the Earth, ice cover, and very interesting how destroyed volcanoes. Volcanoes destroy the ice ball. Why? Because the volcanoes push a lot of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. And the carbon dioxide functions like a temperature trap. It's a green gas situation or trap situation, increase the carbon dioxide and launch a self-sustainable feedback of warming. Okay, the next one, Andean, Sahara, and current ice age, which started 2.58 million years ago. Important question, which are the reasons of the ice ages? The first one, atmospheric composition, carbon dioxide. Recently, the most important argument on the side of global warming, I increased the proportion of the carbon dioxide. This is its name greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane, and any others. The second one, changes of orbit around the sun. This is the second reason. The third reason, a tectonic motion of the plates. You remember how from the Madagascar and how changing the position of Horn of Africa. And very important, you know the theory of the plates, tectonical plates of the Earth. Everybody knows. Okay. Recently, one of the most important, it's a closing of Mediterranean Sea. In geological age, we'll close all of them and will disappear. And this is the same story, India and the mountain of Himalaya. Himalaya, in the geological past, was a huge ocean. And India subcontinent moved toward Asia, closed and pushed out a Himalaya chain and Himalaya mountain. This is the geological age. Variation of solar output. Time by time, a solar radiation changed for inner reason. Orbital dynamics of Earth-Moon system. Very important to mention. One of the most important reasons of life on the Earth, the Moon system. Why? Because if we are speaking about the Earth, it's not a unique planet, but a double planet, and the Moon stabilized the trajectory of Earth. Moon turn around the Sun. Therefore, the trajectory and position of axis of Earth stabilized. Without Moon, probably the axis of Earth should to be rotate somehow, and stabilize the climate. But with Moon, it's stabilized. and forming in the same position. Therefore, in geological reason and astrological reason, a moon stabilized the position of Earth. Impact of relatively large meteorites. Probably you know the story. A huge meteorites, explosion of huge meteorites killed and cancelled the dinosaurs I remember 30 million years ago in Crater age. And the volcanism. A volcano eruption moved huge quantity of material upper part of the atmosphere, which its shadow the surface of Earth. Therefore, a lot of potential reason and interaction between different reasons may form ice ages. If we are looking at the history of climate, of global climate, it's a geological logic. This is the recent time, 0, it's today, and 5.5 million years ago. If we are looking, this is the trajectory of ice age. Ice age decreased the temperature, not average, it's change, but average of temperature, it's continuously change. Very interesting, this diagram. Why? Because if we are looking at this diagram, we are not sure that the Pleistocene ice age closed. According to some theory, recently don't close ice age. Recently, we are living interglacial period because on the time of ice age there are glacial, it's very cold, and interglacial period. Interglacial. It's possible. It's possible. No final conclusion about it. Good. If we are looking at the history and the surface cover of ice, we can see how increased the ice cover from the direction of northern poles and the southern poles. This is the ice covered area on the direction of North Pole. This is the North Pole. We can see how occupied ice cover in different northern part of America and Eurasia. Vegetation, of course, fauna and flora, it's pushed into the direction of equator. This area became ice-covered area. Ice-covered area. Good. If we are looking at human history according to archaeological calendar focused to devices which used the human on the time of past. The last period, according to geological age, named Holocene, when closed or interrupt ice age, approximately 11,500 before prison. There is a dating system, probably you know. BP mean before prison. Before prison mean recently 2000, the second millennium. Back to second millennium. Geological age that we are living in the 21 years later, it's not mean nothing. It's mean Holocene, name Anthropocene, and very important, as I mentioned, Flanders interglacial. Therefore, according to glaciologists, there are one idea that Pleistocene ice age didn't close, only interrupt. Okay, archaeological epoch, Paleolithic epoch. It's a Stone Age. It's a harsh Stone Age. Mesolithic, Neolithic, Copper Age, Bronze Age, and we are living recently in the archaeological approach point of view in the Iron Age. But it's possible. It will make a new age name, artificial materials age, but recently Iron Age. Okay, turn back to the human evolution. The dominant view, according to dominant view, the cradle of life, Africa. But heretical theory, multi-regional origin, for example, there is a Chinese archaeological institute, support that, yeah, except Chinese. Chinese is different, it's probably not true, but it's based on the local nationalism, that it's a multi-regional. But probably the cradle of human, it's wing on Africa. If we are looking at different species, this is the Homo habilis. It's made the first generation of tools and devices, and the most important subspecies of human evolution, Homo erectus. The most successful subspecies. Look at the trajectory. Appeared 1.8 million years ago and disappeared only 100,000 years ago. 100,000 years ago. A Homo erectus invented a huge invention. For example, a Homo erectus domesticated the fire. The first domestication, which divided the trajectory of human and trajectory of animals. Because using of devices, it's not peculiarity of humans. Look at a lot of animals, even my cat, able to use some devices, for example. But domestication of fire, it's basically different level. Not by chance, if you know the Greek mythology, the story of the Hercules, who stolen the fire from the heaven. Okay. And these are, okay, the second one, domestication of fire, and the Homo erectus was the second one, the second important activity, who moved and migrated out of Africa, left Africa, and moved to the other continent. These are the trajectory of losing Africa. This is the cradle of humankind, and two-way on the Gibraltar. Probably it wasn't a strait, it's a bridge, it's a land bridge, and on the direction of Arabian Peninsula, and emigrated everywhere. Homo erectus didn't travel to America, it's later a Homo sapiens sapiens, the following generations. Look at the domestication of fire. Each domestication of plants, domestication of animals, followed the same logic, the same rhythm, like domestication of fire. No date about domestication of fire. Two estimations exist in the literature. The first one, 1.5 million years ago, might happen, or there are a lot of evidence that 150,000 years ago, surely and verified sites, archaeological sites, verified the using of fire. Which are the most important conditions of fire? Oxygen. It's enough quantity of oxygen after appearance of photosynthesis. First bacteria, later plants. Fuel, flammable material, and the heat. The starting heat, lighting. 99% lighting, 1% volcano. But the lighting is the key innovation. Look at, I will show some minutes, one movie about application of fire. But first one, it's a very famous movie. It's Geological. It's a French movie. It's how the name is? It's War for Fire. War for Fire. We can translate. It's directed by Jean-Jacques Renaud and received for costume Oscar Prize. Okay, some minutes I will show from this movie. But look at the consequence of application of fire. Two forms of application of fire made by human. The first one, a hearth. Two two consequences of application for Earth. The first one, cooking. Why is so important the cooking? One reason, a lot of toxical meat or toxical plants able to make edible. First. Secondly, cooking shorten the time of digestions. Why so important? Look at, for example, the cats. Somebody know how long the necessity of sleeping for cats? How long? No? It's a norm, not exaggeration, norm. Minimum 15 hours per day. And look at, for example, the lions. Why? Almost continuously sleeping. Therefore, for example, for pets, ideal, the cat. Ideal. Because sleeping, generally sleeping, like a fish, like a goldfish. Because predator ate meat, and digestion of meat is very hard job for stomach. Yeah. And with help of cooking, because the cooking somehow early digestions. And there is in the cooking optimizing that saving the important element, trace element, vitamins, and the valuable element of the meat. It's optimizing cooking and decrease the time of digestions. And one of the most important consequences of the cooking, increase the time of activity for humans. The cooking increased the time of activity because sometimes, for example, in the Hungarian rural area, it's quite a typical killing of pigs in the local familiar household. And there is very important the taste, the sausages. It's a not cooked material. And I remember when I lived in my village and visited in my village on the time of killing of pigs, after the tasting of meat, I felt on my stomach, it's unbelievable, like a stone. Because it's digestion of flesh meat, it's very hard work, very hard work. With help of cooking, decrease the time of digestions. Okay, other function of the earth, forming of community. If somebody participated in the night picnic and sitting around the fire and singing and speaking and discussing, somehow increase and form the strength of community, sitting around the fire. Okay, look at the torch and vapor. Look first the vapor. Majority of animals afraid from fire, except two animals. Which animals don't afraid from fire? Dead eaters, hyens and shaka. Why? Because for dead eaters, for example, a savanna fire, it's an open restaurant. Because not able, like a predator, hunting down of, how the name is, it's herbivores, mammals who are eating the plants, not able to hunting down, but on the time of savanna fire, a lot of mammals dying, and the dead eaters running to the savanna and follow the fire, because for them it's a empty self-service buffet restaurant. Okay, but majority of animals afraid. Therefore, it's great advantage of human. It's a weapon against the predator, like wolf, like lions, like any other predators. And the torch, very important, because during night, able to form a local light. The ancestor of, for example, a lighting system, this is the torch on the cave. Okay, which are the most important consequences? Domestication of fire, power, and dependence. It's true, each form of domestication, each form of technology. Look at, for example, your mobile phone. You lost your mobile phone. It's show its advantage because with help of mobile you are able, flexible manner, communicate with your circle, your friends and relatives. But without fire, without mobile, paralyzing your social connection. It's true in the case of fire, power and dependence. Fuel demands, generally not so high problem in the Paleolithic age, but recently, look at, for example, nuclear plants and nuclear fossil fuels. It's great problem, not only on the time of using, but after. Therefore, a fuel demand and the using of fuel may form problems. And pollution, smoke and ash. Even early history of human made problem even. Smoke and the ash.